Hi. It's not going to be musical this time. I've been doing a lot of thinking. I mean, what else have I got time to do in these days? And one thing that was so incredibly important for Freddie was friends, were friends. And that goes for every single one of us. I hope every one of you, you've got someone that you can talk to, someone that's there for you, someone that's always going to be there for you. Family, they're with you. You know, sometimes people are so lucky and their best friends are within the family. But there are some of us where it doesn't work quite like that. Family is there, you're tied by blood. So of course, they're there for you. But you have to always remember, friends are there because they want to be there. They want to do what they can for you. One thing that I've been thinking of is the worst, I know this sounds crazy, but the worst words are, "You are my best friend." Because what does that make all the rest? I'm not saying that every friend is a best friend, but to actually have a group of people and just say to one of them, "You're my best friend," what does it make the others feel? Freddie, with his friends, they were so important to him. I understood that because he and I had such a similar childhood in that both of us were at a boarding school for the first sort of school years. I mean, I think he was 7, I started at 6. And they both happened to be in India, of all places. It's just, you do not have family with you for 10 months of the year. So the only people that you can rely on are the friends you have around you. In Freddie's life, you can see where the friendships arrived. You look, and he was still friends with Elton, with John Reid, right from the 74, 75 times. Even before that, you look at the relationship he had with Roger Taylor, how they had the stall in Kensington Market, and that they grew close. Both of them, and I mean that carried on because both of them were similar in that they were party animals. You know, they enjoyed going out, having a good time. He had that relationship with John where he just wanted to protect him from the dark side of sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And their relationship was close until John found his security with Veronica, got married, and Freddie thought, well, we're friends, he can get on with his life and do what he wants. But again, you look at John's track, "You're My Best Friend," which was written, I believe, for Veronica. So that's where family, in fact, can be your best friend. Carry on. With Freddie, when I met him in 79, there were actually a few people with him that actually carried on through till maybe a year before he died, when he started pushing friends away because he didn't want them to see him deteriorating. He wanted them to remember the good times, to remember him happy and laughing, and the great meals, the great times they had together. Freddie was very, very serious about friends as well. He did not have many. I mean, if you compare, the greater percentage of his friends were from ordinary life. Not so many were the big stars, his peers. He felt more comfortable being, how do I describe it? I suppose the easiest way. When we were in New York, when there was just Freddie, myself, Thor, Lee, John, and Joe, he wanted desperately to be part of them, to be part of the group. Whenever we went to a club, a bar, if there was a queue outside, if there was a line outside, I never once had to go to the doorman and say, look, I'm with Freddie, can we, He didn't want that. He would stand in that line with his friends because he wanted them to realize that he was no more important. There was nothing more special than they were with him. He just wanted to fit in with people. That was what he always wanted to do. Of course, he had friends, as I said before, Elton John, there was Dave Clark. I remember Cliff Richard coming round to Garden Lodge sometime. And of course, through Peter Straker, he had friends within the acting community in Britain, because Straker was on television, he was on stage, and so he got to know all these people. And Freddie would invite them around because he loved being, he liked being more with theatre people than with music. He knew he was a good musician, and he never wanted, if he was with a group of friends, musician friends, he never wanted, there was always the feeling of competition of who was, which one was the better, who was it. But with the acting, Freddie was never an actor. He never considered himself an actor. Yes, he could do bits and pieces in video clips, but that was not real acting as far as he was concerned. So he felt very comfortable in that, with these people, because he was just there listening to all this amazing conversation, this intelligent conversation, and having no feeling of, I'm not so good, I'm not as good enough, I'm not as good as they are. There was nothing like that. Freddie had some very good friends, and Freddie knew he had good friends. During interviews, press, even some of the interpretations of some of his songs, he comes across as a sad, lonely man who spends his life alone. But he knew that he had friends. He knew all he had to do was pick up the phone and people would be there. Anybody he spoke to would be there for him. Hopefully, I hope, all of us have at least one person that you would do anything for. There's a friend you have that you would do anything for, because you know without anything happening that they would do anything for you. If you are lucky in life, you have one person, at least one person like that. But if you are incredibly lucky, which I feel I am, there are more. And you cannot go through your life without good friends. They really, really are so important. Freddie he was surrounded by them till, as I said before, maybe a year before he died. But even then, there were a few people that he would see, that he would talk with, that he would listen to, right through to the very end, including people like Dave Clark, Elton John, plus some of us mere mortals. I've said it before, and I will say it forever, that when I've been asked, what did Freddie mean to me? My reply is always the same, that Freddie was the kindest, most generous, loyal friend that you could ever wish to have, because he would do anything for his friends. Something I suppose I should have mentioned right at the very beginning. All of the band, all of the four of them, they were friends. They had to be. You know, if you think they started off life together in 1970, 71, and with everything that they went through, with the recording, the touring, of course there were arguments, but you only really have serious, intense arguments with people that you know you can make it up with. And they knew, every one of them, four of them, knew that they could argue because deep down the friendship was sound. I really hope that all of you think of a friend. Think of someone that you haven't spoken to. Think of how, just by spending, well, for me, maybe 2 or 3 minutes going on my telephone, but most of you are just think of what you could do for someone just by getting in touch, or surprise them with, you know, your face on the telephone, just to say hello, how are you? It works. I know it does, because recently it's been happening to me, and it's been absolutely wonderful. Enough for now. Please, 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 all of you, take care of yourselves. The vaccinations seem to be having some effect, so maybe soon we can start planning to do something. Whether things will happen this year or not, it's totally up in the air, of course it is. But I really, really am looking forward to the days when I can actually see all of you again. So please take care, and we will talk soon.